chose their king, their power was met, but we don't answer to Ottawa yet. No crown gave us what we've earned, just dirt and fire and lessons learned. Now the ground it shakes, the steel it groans, and Alberta walks alone. We ride sovereign steel through fire, through frost. We ain't the last, we're the line they lost. Alberta stands never on its knees, a nation born in the forge of the free. From the rigs to the rails, the crops to the code, we lit their streets, we bore their load. They laughed at pride, they mocked the West, but freedom don't die, it just waits for the test. The cowboys ride, the farmers rise, 5 million strong under open skies. No leash, no lie, no foreign throne. This land is steel and it stands alone. We ride sovereign steel through fire, through frost. We ain't the last, we're the line they lost. Alberta stands never on its knees, a nation born in the forge of the free. Can't kill the mountain, can't drown the plain, can't burn the spirit that won't be chained. He stares down east with a calloused hand and says, this time we draw the line in the land. We ride sovereign steel through fire, through frost. We ain't the last, we're the line they lost. Alberta stands never on its knees, a nation born in the forge of the free.
Welcome. It's 7-Eleven Daily Summary. Bruce Scholl here. I am excited to be here. We have got amazing things happening. I'm so excited for our potential, the opportunities here in Alberta for our family and for our life moving forward. And if you're not from Alberta and you want to be free, and if you want to work hard, and you want to make a better life for your family, and you don't want anything free, and you want your government to be as little as possible, as stay out of the way of you making money and supporting and creating a great place to live, then Alberta is the place for you. I potentially have a surprise guest joining me, so we'll wait and see what happens tonight. But we have lots of things to talk about. There's so much. I actually was contemplating whether I come on because my heart is so full. There's so much going on, and I don't know if I can't tell if I'm going to be like just angry at all the stuff, or if I'm just going to, be able to go through it and sift through some of the information. But I'll do my best, and we'll get through it together because, like I say, we want to stay sane together, keep your head on a swivel. And like I said, I'm excited to be here. I'm always really excited, and we have an extraordinary time in our lives right now and that we are going through. And I hope that you're here because you're more than likely for or interested in Alberta independence. And I think that there's a lot of great things to say about it. One of the things, in case you're on the fence, if you're on the fence about Alberta independence, just think of yourselves as we're not part of Canada. If Alberta was not part of Canada, and Canada reached out to Alberta as us as a whole and said, "Hey, would you like to join our grouping of provinces? And here's what we have to offer. Would would you join Canada at this stage? Would you join Canada if Mark Carney was to come here and try to woo us into joining Canada? Do you think that that would be uh, do you think that that would be an offer that you would take him up on?" I'm just posing it out to you because I think that's a great way to want to think about our independence, about Alberta as a nation and Alberta as the Republic of Alberta, whether that makes sense. There's so many things to think about. It's very exciting. We're going to have some challenges, but when we think about all of the opportunity, and we'll go through some of that hopefully tonight. I want to tick off some of the boxes that might keep people from joining the independence movement. And like I said, I might have a surprise guest. So I was hoping to talk about Alberta independence. And one of the things that has happened recently is Derek Reimer, the pastor from the Calgary area, has been in the news again because he wouldn't apologize to I think it was the manager of a branch of a city library because he offended her. And I pulled up the video, and so maybe we'll go through that and show you as well. Like I said, so many things are happening, and I'm grateful that you're here. Make sure to share this out, get some more eyeballs on it. You can find me and you can find this stream. We're live on Twitch, and we are on Substack Live. We are on YouTube Live. We're on X, Rumble, BitChute. I don't know if I'm forgetting one. Maybe it's Odyssey. I don't know if I'm on Odyssey. Oh no, I'm on. You know what? Hang on a second. I forgot to do this again. Why did I forget to do this again? Slap my hand, you guys. I'm forgetting to do this, but I am putting it on Your News Live with my friend Sam Anthony down in Florida, and I'm putting it on Your News Live. There we are, putting it out there. Sam, if you're watching or listening, make sure to put that out there so we get live on your channel as well. And that's yournews.com. All right, we're going to get into it here, but I always want to start off by saying thank you. Thank you to the circle of influence around me, circle of my friends, my family. The challenges that we faced over the last 5 years really, really honed Unscrew the News into what it is today, and what we are shooting for. So I appreciate all of you being here with me, as well as the viewers. All of you, all of my audience, anybody that's following me on X, I appreciate you. But I also really, really adore supporting local businesses. One of them is a good friend, KailaniOutdoors.com, makes great coolers. They are Yeti-like products, but fantastic. I've got these great cups, great travel mugs that he's made for me and engraved my logo, the UTN logo on it. It looks fantastic. I am so blown away with the quality of this cup, and I take it with me every day. As well as the cooler, which I just bought. It's an awesome cooler. I think I showed it to you once before, but KailaniOutdoors.com. You can get 20% off. Go to my website and click on the link. Also, local business, nuggetsdagger.com. You guys, if you haven't got gold and silver, get gold and silver, protect your family's wealth. It is so critical. The price of silver, I am just blown away with. I've been watching it for about 10 years. And in the last 2 days, it's gone up $8. This is not the peak. This is not the top. You want to buy gold and silver today. It is going higher. And you know why it goes higher? Is because of instability in the marketplace. And the people like Mark Carney, they continue to print money. And your money is worth less every day because of the Mark Carneys of the world. They continue to print more. That means the dollars in your pocket are worth less. Get gold and silver. Protect your wealth today. Give them a call, 1-866-644-2121. Okay, we're going to get into it. I apologize for taking a bit more time, but we're coming to you from the heart of the battle-ready nation of Alberta. We bring you truth and optimism. Our goal is to break free from the media and the globalist mind control. It is December 11th, 2025. This is episode number 235. This is Alberta Independence and Bill C-9. We might talk a little bit about that and how it'll affect the censorship and not allow. One of the things that we're seeing that this Bill C-9 that they're going to try and push through is more hate speech laws, and really targeting Christians, from what I can tell. And this is a Christmas present from this bullshit government. And you know, the conservatives are really not much better than the liberals. I tweeted, or I posted something, or I replied something to Mr. Pierre Poilievre today saying, hey, you know what? You're sounding like you're actually caring. And where were you the last number of years? We need all sane politicians to stand up and fight for what's right, not what's right in the polls. We need Javier Milei type of energy. We need that kind of fire in the belly. That's the kind of leader that we need, is somebody that does the right thing because they know it's right. It's not going to win them seats or win them elections. They just do what's right because it is morally correct. It is the values, like Dr. Modry was saying the other night, 2 nights ago when I had him on, values, as opposed to poll numbers. Anyway, we're going to get into some stuff here. Let me see. I'm going to bring up this right here. I'm going to go through my bookmarks, and we're going to go through some stuff here from in regard to Alberta. Oh, here we go. Here's some news again today. So again, this is another reason we need to get the heck out. Kevin Pacetti, he says another POS crossed the floor and went against his constituents' votes. 1 seat away from Liberal majority. Alberta is running out of options. Time to go. 100% right, Kevin. This is another one of those bullshit traitors that you voted him in because he was your MP in, I can't remember the area that he was from, but he has completely shit the bed for his constituents, and he's gone with the elbows up morons to give the Liberals more power, or what I would fondly consider the Brookfield land. Yeah, that's what it's going to be called. Brookfield land is very shortly what it's going to be called, because they'll give himself the power. Oh my God, where do I start? You got to listen to this. This is from Martin Pelletier. He says, this is from Chief and Council, Athabasca Chippewa First Nation. Let me say this one more time. There will be no Northern Gateway Pipeline. There will be no capacity beyond the TMX. It's done. Moot. Move on.
We want to say to the Prime Minister Carney that we say no. No to increasing production of tar sands by 100 million barrels a day. No to increasing toxic tailings in our backyard.
Look at the guy behind him bobbing his head.
No to lifting the tanker ban on the West Coast.
They say no to oil. They say no to the resources, but they love the money.
MOU within Alberta.
We love to have the money.
We stand in solidarity with the coastal First Nations and Prime Minister Carney would have known this if he had bothered consulting us.
Consulting you, all you're going to do is say no until you get paid. That's all that it's about. I'm sorry, I am so tired of this bull. Rise of Alberta. Here's what life will look like in an independent Alberta. Here's what life will look like. You pay less tax, keep more of your money. Our 47 billion will stay here to fund better hospitals, schools, and roads. Our economy will boom with oil, gas, and agriculture finally unleashed. Investment will flow in, not flee. Exactly. This is the thing that some people, some crazy people keep saying, that investment's going to leave. Why would it leave? We're going to unrestrain the ability to make money. We're going to unrestrain industry. It doesn't mean they can pollute. It doesn't mean that they're going to have carte blanche. It means that we're going to take away this carbon tax bull crap. You know it's a whole hoax. You know it's a complete hoax to line the pockets of the EU, WEF, and these devil worshipping people like Mark Carney. You know that's what this carbon tax is all about. Carbon tax does not save the environment, and you can go suck it if you think it does. Investment will flow in. Listen to that again. You will raise your kids without woke propaganda in the classroom. Now that sounds sweet, doesn't it? No woke propaganda in the classroom. Mass immigration policies from Ottawa will end. That's right. We'll have all of the ability to just to pick and choose who comes in. Wouldn't it be great if we had the ability to pick and choose who we can come in? You know what? We can give them a list of prerequisites. When you come into Alberta, these are the things that you're going to be expected to do. One of them being speak English, or have it have it down so that you have some ability, because this is our language. You also there's a number of things. Obviously, if you're bringing in a business here, if you have a business plan, if you are planning on bringing money into the country, well, those are great things to have. And we're not just going to bring in the absolute worst from a country so that we oversaturate our social programs. So we oversaturate our schools and fill it with kids that don't speak English or don't even care to speak English. You know what? I have a lot of experience dealing with people that choose not to speak English right here in Alberta, and it destroys me when I listen. They don't even choose. They don't even try. You have a phone that you're calling on this highly technological piece of equipment in your hand, and instead of just saying that you can't speak English, you could actually pull out an app, maybe a translator. That's a crazy idea, wouldn't you? Doesn't it seem like a crazy idea? All right, I have that surprise guest sticking around here, so I'm hoping that he's going to pop back up here in a second, but we're going to continue. So we're talking about these great things that Alberta could be. Your voice will actually matter in elections, yeah, because it'll be our elections. We'll be voting for the nation of Alberta. Your rights and freedoms will be protected. Your home, your land, your values will be respected. Our culture and identity will be preserved. Sorry, one second. All right. Why keep sacrificing everything for a country that gives you nothing back? 100%. That's right. Independence. This is Rise of Alberta. Love their post. Rise of Alberta says independence equals prosperity. And independent. Hang on one second. Independence equals prosperity, jobs, lower taxes, better life. What if we didn't have taxes at all? What if we didn't have taxes at all? Could you imagine? Amazing. That is a possibility, by the way, of having no taxes. It would be amazing. Hang on one second. I just gotta, I'm just speaking to our special surprise guest coming on here. Stand by while I'm trying to organize this. One moment. Anyway, who was it I was talking to? Nadine Wellwood. And we talked about having no income tax whatsoever. So there would be probably a user tax, right? So it would be a tax on anything that you bought, let's say groceries, gas, that sort of thing. And that would be even. That would be everybody pays this tax. So you use it, you just put it onto groceries, you put it onto obviously getting clothes and your gas and all those other things. So that would be an amazing thing. You know what? I'm actually going to bring this up here so we can just talk about this quickly here. Value of freedom. If you haven't checked this out, this is from the Alberta Prosperity Project. You can go to their website and check it out. But the value of freedom, how Alberta could thrive by keeping the money at home. Check this out. Federal taxes paid. This is what we're paying now, between $68 and $75 billion a year. Money returned. We get about 22 to 26 billion. Annual net loss, we're losing about 44 to 47. Imagine keeping all of that here. Alberta pension plan. This is a huge win for anybody that is retired or obviously at some point you're going to retire, but the numbers are staggering compared to what we are receiving for the CPP. And I've talked to a number of experts. One of them being Nadine Wellwood, and another is a friend of mine, Fergus Hodgson. And the way the CPP is set up, just in case you haven't already looked into it, is currently set up like a Ponzi scheme, that there is not enough in there to pay out all of the payouts. And currently it's paying out about $1,200 per person. And that's on the high end of things. All right. It looks like our surprise guest is in the room here. I'm excited to have him and looking forward to bringing him on here. So we'll talk about the Alberta independence options here in a second. But because he's joined, I want to bring him on here. And he has been floating around Alberta. It's been quite exciting to see him here. You will probably know him because of his past work and life in the Ottawa area. Let me see if I can pull him up here and make sure that I say this right. But he serves as an independent journalist accredited to the Independent Press Gallery of Canada, covering contentious issues like compelled speech, cases involving pastors, government-mandated animal culls. You'll all know that because it was the ostrich cull, and he was front and center out there, but probably became well known for the convoy out in Ottawa. I think that's probably where he cut his teeth. Anyway, I want to welcome him to Unscrew the News. This is his very first time, and it sounds like we might have something to talk about in regard to Alberta as well. I want to welcome Chris Dacey from Dacey Media. Thank you so much for joining me, sir. It's such a pleasure.
Yeah, it's nice to join you, and I'm meeting a lot of cool people in Calgary, so nice to connect to people.
You know what? I heard a rumor that you might be considering moving out here. Is that something that you're thinking about?
The thought has crossed my mind. I mean, I made it, so I was pretty isolated there in BC, but man, everything I saw was beautiful. I went from the farm to Vancouver to the coast and back, and now to Calgary, and oh man, it's absolutely wonderful here. The people have been fantastic. It's been pretty special, and I guess we have an East Coast bias. I'm kind of in a silo with what I cover and what we see in the East, and we got a few hills and a few lakes and stuff, but it's nothing compared to what you guys have out here.
Oh yeah. Well, we have some beautiful areas, but I don't know if you've experienced it. I'm guessing you probably have. You probably felt the vibe of Albertans, and there's a certain vibe that we have. We're not ego driven. first of all. You know, we're pretty easygoing, and somebody like you, myself, and many other people like me appreciate the work that you've done. And I got to start off by saying that thank you so much for putting yourself out there. You've gotten yourself in front of a number of situations where I wanted to reach out to you and say, dude, you're doing a fantastic job. So keep up the great work.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, this is not anything I ever intended to do. For those that don't know, I'm a carpenter by trade from the Ottawa Valley, and I just happened to be caught up in some really unfortunate stuff, and was living in downtown Ottawa when the convoy rolled in. And like you say, that's kind of where I cut my teeth. Like after we got beat out of there, I was still living there, surrounded by police lines, and I just started filming stuff. And that's kind of, the genesis or the origin story. I mean, it goes back a little farther, but that's kind of how I started doing this. And I never really looked back, but I really feel like I'm just starting to get my feet under me,
Well, anybody in the independence media are just getting our feet under us because you probably see this in being in Ottawa, but they still have such a hold over people's minds. This mainstream whore media of lying sacks of shit. I cannot believe that they still have the power that they do. And I'm looking forward, to you and many other people that are much more prominent than I are doing some fantastic work of really getting to the truth. And I know that you spent, so I really want to ask you a bit about the ostrich being out there. What was it called again? What was the area called?
So it was the closest town would be Edgewood, Alberta.
Right.
I mean, it's literally
Edgewood,
like
BC.
there's
Edgewood, BC.
Yeah, sorry, the BC. Yeah, I'm in Alberta now. Yeah, it's all of Edgewood, British Columbia, would be the closest town. It's maybe like a 5-minute kind of drive, but this is literally an isolated mountain valley in the middle of nowhere. There's one road in, and the other, if you keep going, there's a ferry to get out, kind of thing. So, I mean, it's about as in the middle of nowhere as you could be.
Yeah.
Should be paradise. Quiet, isolated mountain valley, but it was the scene of like unimaginable tyranny and horror.
You know what? You and I should talk about that another day. Get into it because I'd love to dig into a bit more. But just briefly, does what happened there? Does it seem to you, because I know this is how I feel, but does it not seem to you that this is a trial balloon for the Canadian government, the RCMP, and the big boot of tyranny?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, and for me to say that something is shocking is quite a statement. Like, I don't say that easily. I cover some crazy stuff in Ottawa, in Ontario. I mean, all over the place. I mean, I've covered mobs taking over the street, people swarming the prime minister's detail and chasing them out of there. I cover a lot of really, really wild stuff. And what I witnessed at that farm, and what I witnessed an unelected bureaucracy with a paramilitary force backing them, the RCMP, was it was beyond the pale. Like, I see crazy stuff literally all the time. My life is kind of the internet incarnate.
Yeah.
And this was shocking to me. Also, dealing with the RCMP in this nature, like in Ontario, we have the Ontario Provincial Police.
Sure.
We have local police forces, and I mean, I'm not anti-cop. I was always kind of I've always been a supporter of law enforcement pretty much my whole life. I know lots of people who were in policing, still are in policing. But things have changed over the years, and it seemed like, at least in Ontario, the OPP perhaps were one of the larger police apparatuses that were still working somewhat properly.
Yeah.
When I see this stuff happening with the RCMP and what they can do in some of these jurisdictions, the way they can pass the buck, they can ignore stuff. There seems to be no accountability for them. It's a huge eye opener for me, for sure.
Okay, I'm just going to put this out. I'm going to do a little plug for Alberta here for a second. But another reason, this is number 1723 reason why Alberta needs to get out of the Confederation of Canada, because we can have our own police force and kick the RCMP to the curb. we won't have to have them in our borders, in our beautiful, beautiful borders that we're going to set up. All right. Obviously a tough time. And again, I appreciate you covering that with such veracity over in Edgewood, BC. Do you have any, there was a post a little while ago that really shook me in regard to the cull. And it was from a guy named, I can't remember his name, Sergeant Retired or something like that.
Yeah,
SGT.
Mike Rude. So Mike and I have
Is
been
that Mike
basically
Rude? Oh, okay.
So Mike is Canadian Forces veteran. I believe he served like about 28 years. He was airborne.
Okay.
Served in Bosnia, Somalia, Afghanistan. Continued to serve with PPCLI after the airborne was disbanded after the Somalia mission. And normally Mike's mission is driving. He drives back and forth across the country, helping veterans and spreading awareness about methloquine poisoning. So methloquine was
Methloquine.
yes, it was an anti-malarial drug that they forced on a number of soldiers, a ton of soldiers, over a long time, and it poisoned them, poisoned a bunch of them. They knew it was poisoning them. They continued to do it. So they have an ongoing lawsuit now, a mass tort lawsuit against the Canadian government, the military, and whatnot. And obviously, the government's fighting them tooth and nail. So you get guys that are have been through hell and back, combat-related PTSD, all these different things, and then you compound that by forcing this unproven, untested drug, where we've seen that before, right?
Yeah.
On these soldiers, and the effects of this drug were devastating, absolutely devastating. So that's his normal mission. He got a little bit sidetracked. I've known Mike for a number of years, and he ended up at the ostrich farm. He just had to go. Once he got there and I saw what was going on, the RCMP moved in, I called him up and we made plans to go in together. He met me at the airport and we were kind of embedded there for like about 7 or 8 weeks.
What I saw, maybe it wasn't the same person, but he was showing the shell casings from I don't know if you saw this. It might have been another guy that goes by SGT.
Okay. So yes, Sergeant Sean, something like that. Yeah, he's another veteran as well that spent some time at the farm before I was there.
Saskatchewan or something like
that.
Yeah,
I think so. Yeah, he drove out. I talked to him as I was trying to cover it from Ottawa before I went, and he got there before we got there, and he left, I think, right before we got there.
Well, he was just pointing out that they were using 22s, and
so
I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah, so I sent a message to him trying to track that down. So I haven't seen the shell casings myself, so I want to be completely transparent and honest. I have talked to some people. From what I understand, there were definitely 223s, Remington 223s. So that would be the civilian equivalent of a NATO round 5.56, the standard round for an AR-15. That's also the round and the weapon that the government says is not good for hunting game, is only good for mass slaughtering people.
Really?
For what that's worth, it's also the weapons they're trying to ban because they're scary, right? So if it was a 223, it was probably RCMP might have those. If it was military rounds, they'd be 5.56, but they're basically the same.
Wow. What he was saying, and maybe you know better than I do because I don't know, but they were small. They were small.
Yeah. Okay. So
caliber, right?
The 223 is not so small. I mean, it's a bigger caliber, but if they're talking about 22 or 22 long, that would be a much smaller round. It sounded to me during the call like there was a lot of gunfire, man. There was like 800 to 1,000 gunshots that went off that night. And it sounded to me like very clearly, like at least 2 different calibers, or maybe the same, but one suppressed. Like they were distinctly different sounds. So I don't know if they were maybe using the larger 226 round to wound them and then maybe like pegging them off with I don't know. I can't really speculate to that until I actually talk to the people and physically see the rounds for myself. It's hard for me to speculate. But even so, the 223 is not, it's not a round made for taking down large game, let's say.
That's what he was saying. Let me just see if I've got the, I actually found the casing pictures that he had up here. shouldn't be that far back. So excuse me while I just scroll through. And
Yeah, of course, yeah.
again, I appreciate you being here on short notice. By the way, my audience,
Yeah.
Chris, I texted
I think
him
I shared
about
it to
20
mine
minutes
too.
ago.
I tried.
Yeah. I sent
I
sent
gave
you a
no
message about
notice
20 minutes
whatsoever.
ago.
But,
So
yeah.
I appreciate you
I just
jumping
happened
on
to
here.
see it, man. I'm bombarded by messages all the time. You just got me at the right time, so I'm happy to join you.
Yeah, that was good. Sorry, I'm just skimming through his posts here. I'm not
Yeah,
gonna find it. So
and I think this is
I'm not gonna worry
important
about it.
that we establish this. It's important that we establish this properly, right? So, like, if they were using 223s or like basically the equivalent of a NATO round, the standard AR-15, only good for
Mhm.
killing people, ammunition. There's something there. If they were
Yeah.
also using 22 longs, that's kind of weird. Like, there was a guy that walked through with his rifle case and had his little white dog with him, and on the day of the cull, one of the
Right.
CFIA people brought their daughter in. Like,
Really?
oh yeah, some real nasty stuff. Yeah, real nasty stuff going on there the whole time.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
I'm gonna quickly pull up your Twitter page here, and
Yeah.
I'm just gonna go through a couple of things because I want to talk. Obviously, I want to talk about Derek Reimer because
Yeah.
this is what I've seen you. I didn't know that you were coming here or you were here already, but were you coming specifically because of Reimer, or were you?
No.
Did you happen to be here?
Had nothing to do with it. Like everything here, this is not my plan. I mean, this is God's plan. I just I'm doing my best to try to follow it and do it the best I can. I was supposed to be in Calgary for a day or two, and we were supposed to head on. And I'm still here, and I'll probably be here for a number of days, but it's
Oh, that's
working out
great.
okay.
Okay, well, before we sign off, I hope that we can meet up for coffee if you're going to be here
That
for a
would be
couple
nice.
of days. So let's just
Yeah.
do that. Let's just plan it out. Do you mind if I just play this a bit?
Yeah,
Obviously,
no, go nuts.
do you mind setting it up? So because obviously this little video here is not going to explain the whole thing. I've been talking briefly about Derek Reimer and what he's gone through. You know what? Actually, I should probably play this video here first, which is the video from the library, because I think you had it right about.
Might have had it.
Oh, maybe not there.
The one where he got tossed? Man, there's one video where he gets physically thrown out of the library.
That was, yeah, I saw that a few years ago. Obviously, when it happened. No, I was looking for the video where he was actually talking to the woman. Where. Let me just see if I found it here. No, I didn't.
Yeah,
I
I'm
don't
not
know
sure.
where I went to.
I post a lot.
Yeah, so do I, apparently. Anyway, we're not going to talk about it. Let's just go back to Derek Reimer. This is obviously a photo that you took of the day that he was then.
Yeah, so that's not my photo. I'm not sure if that's maybe Arthur Pulowski,
Oh, yeah.
another Calgary pastor who's been. I wasn't there the day of the arrest, but I
Oh,
was in Calgary, and I was talking to a bunch of people connected actually. So
Yes.
I kind of got the video immediately of the arrest, and I posted it, and dude, it went absurdly viral. I get stuff that goes viral sometimes, but it had like millions upon millions of views.
Well, imagine that another Alberta pastor, or
Yes,
another
again,
opportunity
right?
for another Alberta pastor to be thrown in jail. And I'm just going to tell the audience. Because I know we've talked about this before, but he had gone to the drag queen story hour at the library. He confronted a person at the library. Apparently she got offended, and I was looking at it just before we went live, but she just said that she got offended because he said that, this is a grooming opportunity.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
but he got acquitted. So correct me
Yes,
if I'm
he got
wrong.
acquitted initially, right? Exactly.
Yeah.
He got charged and he was acquitted initially. And as the Crown does with their unlimited resources, they appealed the conviction. They have done this with basically every case also that's Freedom Convoy related. As far as they know, they do it with every case that might involve some kind of Christian. So this is common practice. The government has unlimited money. They have unlimited lawyers, and they can grind you through hell for as long as they want, right?
Well, the punishment
And
is the procedures, right?
yeah, and in this case, it's so abundantly clear in this case that the punishment or the process is the punishment. His conditions. This has been a 3-year ongoing saga, and his conditions through all of this have been absurdly restrictive, far more so than heinous criminals would get, but also incredibly vague, so that they can be purposely misinterpreted, and then he can be thrown in jail again. And that's kind of a little bit what I touched on with his wife today, outside of the probation office, the big place. He was arrested again. And I was actually scheduled to do an interview with Derek, and unfortunately he got arrested before I was able to do it. But what he told me was that this waiting, wondering, not knowing what I'm allowed to do or not, and then waiting for the knock at my door, waiting to be surrounded like I'm a high risk offender, like they took down Pastor Pulowski and hogtied him and dragged him out. Right? They put him in solitary confinement for over 45 days.
Never mind that they chased him with helicopters through the city.
Yes. And then actual ideologically motivated violent extremists. So what they accuse us of being, actual ones of those, tried to set fire to his church. They burnt down the church bus. People attacked his house. They physically attacked him, right? And then at the same time, there's people writing hit pieces about all of us, slandering us, government funded media, literally collaborating and writing hit pieces about all of this, right? So it's
I want to go back to one of the things that you said earlier is that you were always, you have friends that are in the police force. You're for the police, or you always were for the police. I want to remind people that most conservatives, like you and I, more than likely, always were rule followers. I know I was a rule follower to the nth degree.
Until my hand is pushed way too far, right? And even so, I still believe that we need a properly functioning and well-trained police force. How could we operate without one? Right? Yeah, exactly. How could we operate without one?
I want law and order, but I want it to be even. So the criminals
it needs to be
away.
Impartial and fair. It needs to be impartial and fair. And that's not what we have right now. And it took me a long time to get over I was at the convoy. I was there on Wellington Street as the RCMP popped smoke and pushed us back down past the Prime Minister's office with 4-foot wooden beating sticks. Move. I seen them hit people over the head. I saw them shoot Alexa Lavoie from Rebel News at point blank with a 40-millimeter gas grenade. Saw them shoot a guy in the head with a rubber bullet. I saw crazy stuff. And it took me a long time to kind of rehumanize the police and specifically the RCMP. And, I tried so hard at that farm, man, but what those guys were doing was beyond the pale. They had drone operators chasing and terrorizing a family, a completely unrelated property that was seized purely for logistical and operational purposes. And they destroyed this property. They destroyed it. And they tortured the daughter of the property owners, trying to get me to snap. Yes. So they were never involved in the initial warrants. They were never part of a quarantine property. None of this was really their concern. They happen to technically be related to the family, but they are separate property owners with a completely separate property. And they didn't even know their property was being seized until they saw it on a live stream. In the warrant that they were given. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Explain it a bit more. Sorry. I saw the video that you did after and this was actually about a week ago, and I saw this video that came out, and you're walking through and they're talking about their land being taken from by the RCMP. Can you explain that a bit more? Because I don't know if everybody got that.
Yeah.
But it's an adjacent property to the ostrich farm. Is that right?
Yeah, that's correct. Which makes it so important. Say what you can fall on any kind of position here about the ostriches, about the farm, the attacks they use on universal ostrich farms. They're basically unrelated. So there is a separate property, completely unrelated, separately owned, that wasn't part of the quarantine. But when the RCMP and CFIA moved in to start their massive operation or their call operation, they seized this adjacent property that actually had a dwelling on it that people stayed in and lived in. They also seized a property on the other side. That was just a field, but it was still someone else's property. And
Right.
in this garlic farm property case, they seized it. The property owners only found out when they saw it on live stream. They used it for logistical. They cut through brush from the highway a direct road into these fields. So,
Really?
property they've been growing up for years to secure their
Yeah,
property. And I mean, this thing is basically like a secluded oasis, the way it's been built. And the
Yeah.
RCMP just came in and stole it. And honestly, they destroyed all the fields. They terrorized the family that was there. And, people like there's a lot of different positions you could fall on this whole thing. But this specific issue of seizing an unrelated property, I even posted a video recently of the RCMP confirming this could happen to anyone.
Right.
If we need your property for an operation, so if your neighbor's house is a crack den and we want your property, we can take it, destroy it, and terrorize you while we do it. And we're completely within our lawful authority to do that.
Hold it, Chris. They don't need any crack den. That means that they can do anything that they feel like.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
They just determine that you're a dissenter.
Well, it's even worse. It's even worse than that because it's not the RCMP. So all this time, the RCMP are passing the buck saying that this is a CFIA warrant. We're not used to this. The CFIA is an unelected bureaucracy.
Right.
So the fact that they can get a warrant to do these things and then have a paramilitary force come in and seize adjacent properties. They had tactical police, 30, 40 units every night, drone operators, multiple drones.
Sure.
I mean, it was hundreds of thousands of dollars a day for this RCMP operation.
I
wasn't not counting the CFIA cost.
Yeah, I wasn't there, but from what you're telling me and from what the footage that I saw, this sounds like, and I'm just putting this out there, just my opinion, but it sounds like they were using this as an operation to test so that they could make sure, well, they can do more because now they've just like COVID, and I just call it the dark times because I can't stand saying the word, but just during that, that was a test, right? So that they could hone their skills so they could get better, and they knew where the lines were, and they knew how far they could push it.
Well, I would put to you that there are no lines anymore after witnessing this. I mean, if the CFIA could do this, and at the behest of who, right? Like, what perverse motives are involved here? International motives, obviously, ultranational, big pharma. There's a whole bunch of very concerning things here. But if one unelected bureaucracy can do this, they all can, right? It's the same way they're starting in the East Coast and trying to come for our guns, right? The guns that they used are probably forbidden for me or you to own,
right?
But they can go off and they can shoot at night under unsafe conditions. We have videos that seem to show bullets getting out of there and possibly impacting your supporters. As this was happening, it came with no warning, zero warning. They sealed off the farm and separated families, separated people out on the street in the freezing cold away from their, it was pretty bad. It was pretty bad. And as all of this was going on, the RCMP, who said they were there to keep the peace and be impartial, they had their backs to the shooters and they were actively antagonizing the supporters. I had people bumping into my back as they were coming in on shift change. I had people threatening me. I was threatened with arrest. It was wild.
Are you talking about Ottawa now, or are you talking about?
No, at the farm.
This is
at the farm. Yeah.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. It was wild.
You posted, and I just want to draw some lines, but this is something that's happened. I know for the last 4 years, we've heard about chicken farms. All of a sudden they're on fire and the whole, barns are gone and thousands of chickens are gone. But you had posted something about some cattle, and I think it was in France, and a very similar issue. It sounds like where they're trying to protect a cattle farm.
The French, I guess, are a little feistier than us, and I think they're probably geographically closer together, right? It's easy to get a groundswell of movement in Europe. But similar thing. 200, I think, cattle. One may have been sick, and they wanted to come in and kill 200 cattle. The video I saw, they were popping off flares and lighting fires, and they were actively fighting back. Maybe that's what they want, right? Like they want it. Like, I know at the farm, The day of the call, like that day, there was a female PLT officer, so a police liaison officer, person who's supposed to be calm, talk to everyone. She actively came at me numerous times. There's a number of officers, and there's a whole lot of video that we have not put out yet that is absolutely damning to the RCMP. That shows what I would say is a coordinated effort to try to get supporters or people involved to do something illegal, to snap.
Is that right? Hey, wow.
To justify their tyrannical behavior, right?
For sure. I also noticed that Rebel's coming out with a documentary. Are you?
Yes.
I mean, you have a lot of footage. Or have they asked you for some of your footage to participate? Or no?
I've offered up any footage I have. They have tons of their own.
Yeah.
I did talk to Rebel a ton of times throughout this, and I think we're probably going to do another interview specifically related to that documentary. So I'm really glad they're on that, because I'm out of my depth a little bit on this sometimes. You know, I get the video out and I can kind of do the the real time coverage and stuff, but like trying to tell the broader story, and like, man, 3 years ago I was just a carpenter or 4 years ago who lost his business and just a guy who was crushed by the man. So I'm still trying to work my way through this, but I'm glad they're on it. I have a lot of more in-depth stuff I'm working on and trying to work on, but it's going to take me some time to work through it to do this properly.
Okay, I'm going to show this video of Derek Reimer's wife here. One moment. Oops. All right.
We're going to have to be careful. I know that Derek's not allowed to be on social media.
Yeah.
And he's not allowed to make comments. So if he were to come out from this door, I'd basically have to walk away.
Yeah.
We have to be really careful. And I think that's part of it. They make a lot of this purposely confusing.
Exactly.
And then it leaves that question that you worry all the time.
Yeah.
And even, you're trying to comply with things that are reasonable. But if you don't know the specifics, how can you comply?
Exactly. So the CSO new order, him being banned in social media, is very, very strict, and it was specifically constructed as vague order, so it's easy to breach.
Yeah.
Right. So even the judge didn't want to explain that, so that's why this is what they're doing.
Yeah, see, there seemed to be confusion to me in the court too, and his lawyer Andrew McGilvery asked for clarification, and the justice seemed reluctant to even clarify at the time.
Well, basically, they don't want to say it to come from their mouth that they are stopping Derek not to say something. They just
because
they were just
it's
saying,
more than social media. It sounded like the justice was saying you can't make public statements at all.
Yeah, well, it's washing their hands, because it's basically, if they said it from their own mouth, it's infringing of freedom of speech.
Yeah, so they leave it ambiguous.
They have way to reward things. They have way to write things, but basically the new order is shutting Derek's mouth not to talk about his case.
They were compelling his speech prior to this and kind of landed him here, and now they're censoring him again.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
so
wild.
so I just want to let people aware, but
To be
Wow. Crazy. Again, another pastor in Alberta being shut up, right? Yeah, and I mean, this is prior to, like, we have Bill C9 coming, right? That's going to remove the religious exemption. Quoting the Bible will soon be illegal. It's not illegal now, and there's still pastors being put through this. And I don't hide my faith. I'm a believer. I'm a deep believer. I follow Christ, and we don't all have to agree. I don't necessarily agree with Derek's approach all the time, or say Arthur Pulowski's. We all come about it our own way. But the principles of free speech aren't there to protect speech that I agree with, right? They're there to protect everyone's speech, uncomfortable speech. And not only have we gone way past the curtailment of free speech, he was arrested recently for refusing compelled speech. So, like, refusing to make an apology that would go fundamentally against his religious beliefs. And what happens in these cases? We see this in England as well with Enoch Burke, where if you don't succumb to this compelled speech and the self-flagellation, then you can possibly be held indefinitely
on all these kind of breaches and technicalities in court. You've never been convicted of a thing even, or you might have been acquitted before of these charges. But 3 years later, you're still getting lambasted by the man.
Well, Artur Pawlowski is a great example. I mean, they locked him in his house and he couldn't say a word.
Yeah.
You know, so we're going to let you out, but these are the restrictions. So you're completely shut down anyway, even though you're out, right? You're technically not in prison.
Yeah.
But you're really in prison.
And which is worse, right? So there was actually quite a bit of time. Derek's hearing the other day, his bail hearing, the justice made the decision quite early that he was releasable under these conditions. And it took all the way to like 8 p.m. that night for him to go through and think, if I'm willing to sign these conditions, you know, what's it going to mean for me? Are they trying to catch me? Are they releasing me just so they can arrest me again, which they've done?
Yeah.
You know, we've seen them do basically a high risk takedown on Artur Pawlowski in the street and hog tie him and drag him out of there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we know what Calgary police are capable of. We know what the RCMP are capable of. And honestly, even without these new laws being passed, it's already dystopian and terrifying.
All right. So that only brings me to a reminder that that we need to get the hell out. And we would welcome a patriot like yourself. So, you know, please consider it. I'm just going to bring this up, and we'll talk a little bit more about Alberta. Maybe we'll bring up C9 here again. But Keith Wilson, have you run into him in your path?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure I met him a number of times, but he definitely follows me and shares quite a bit of my stuff. I follow him as well, so he's definitely someone that's known to me. Not sure if we met yet, but I know of him for sure.
I don't know if you've seen it, but obviously Thomas Lukaszuk is a big not an important force, but he has a bit of backing now that he's gone out and gotten all of these signatures. You're familiar with this process, right?
Yes, somewhat. I'm getting far more familiar with it now, but yeah.
Okay, so for the audience and for yourself, I'll just give you a brief history. So Thomas Lukaszuk, a failed politician, he has a Sharia mortgage business. So I think that he is a little bit of a reason to stay in Canada, because we would probably get rid of any business that was like that. But anyway, so he decided that he was going to jump in front of the question when Alberta Prosperity Project wanted to come out with a question to have a referendum to leave Canada. So he jumped in front and decided, because of the law, if he was able to ask the question for a referendum first, only one question can be asked at a time.
Yeah.
So he was hoping to block the question by doing his. So then he went out and got the petition, and there's some shady stuff obviously about that, but he got 465,000 signatures. So good for him, because he's, you know, brought it forward a bit more. But there's potentially I heard that there could be a debate between Thomas Lukaszuk and Keith Wilson. And I think
potential. Yeah. It sounds like one person's willing and wanting to debate, and one person definitely isn't.
Well, Thomas Lukaszuk, and Tommy, if you're out there, if you happen to hear this, he's blocked almost everybody in Alberta that has that is not necessarily for him, not necessarily against him, but he blocks anybody that has any brain cells, apparently. But yeah, he's probably not even listening. So anyway, I'm sure he probably won't show up.
Well, he may not have blocked me yet. I'll clip it out and we'll send it to him after.
But
talk to Mr. Wilson.
I think it would be great.
Yeah, me too. I think conversation in general, like we should all be talking as much as possible. I don't know how we got away from this in our society, but the more we talk and the more we talk in detail, the better chance we have about fixing some of these terrible, terrible things. At this point, though, no one's willing to talk. No one's willing to debate. It's all ad hominem attacks. I've been slandered in the House of Commons.
Right.
And then government funded media can report that, right? They have parliamentary privilege. They can lie. They can do whatever they want. Yeah. Then the government funded media can write a hit piece about it. And, people can put up posters about me all over downtown Ottawa, calling me a groomer.
So here's another thing in case you didn't know this. So apparently Carney has asked Tommy to show up to Ottawa to tell him what's going on in Alberta. This is the
Yeah, of all
guy that,
people. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So well, I mean, what do you expect from Carney? I mean,
Yeah.
he's just a globalist. WF Brookfield. Before you joined me, I was calling Canada Brookfield land because I think that's probably what it will turn into.
Well, it's not even, I mean, he's not even hiding it, right? Like, I mean,
No.
you talk out of one side of your mouth while completely screwing everything and everyone out of the other side. I mean, it's,
Well, they're
yeah.
writing, and I don't have the law in front of me, but they're writing themselves so that they have absolute
I know.
freedom. You heard this, right?
Yes. Yeah. And ministers can make decisions that like have, and no one can watch and no one's allowed to know. And dude, this is
You can't hold
absolutely
anybody
crazy.
accountable anymore.
Yeah, it's
They
absolutely
won't-
crazy. And even with the mechanisms we have in place that in theory should be able to hold people accountable, they clearly are not working.
No.
You know, if our charter rights are violated, we have no mechanism to stop it.
Well,
And
we
there's
already
no
proved.
accountability after.
We already proved that it was illegal to use the Emergencies
Yes.
Act
Yeah.
against Canadians, but nobody paid for it. There
Yeah,
was no accountability.
unconstitutional, unjustified, all these things, ultra virus, like, yes. But what accountability is there? There's none. Zero.
There was no accountability whatsoever.
And
Justin
even
Trudeau
without
yeah, go ahead.
even without accountability, like if there's not acknowledgement and some acknowledgement of the truth of what happened,
Yes.
it's impossible for people to start even thinking about moving forward.
I'm 100% with you. And going back to your other point about being able to talk, I think this is what's happened. And you know, I don't know the whole picture. I think I have a pretty good idea. But obviously the powers that be, and you know, that would be the Carneys and the UN and NATO and WEF and you know, some of those other big players, some of those other large unelected players, they really want us to fight amongst ourselves.
Yeah, of course.
They want
Yeah,
us
they can
divided.
thrive off chaos.
Yeah. So they want us divided. They don't want us to talk because if we are talking, we find out that we're much more alike than we are different.
Oh, that's an
right.
incredibly important point. And I think that point needs to really be driven home. So I was a living through the convoy. I covered it like crazy. I would say that 90% of the people that I met there were liberals, like small L liberals.
Mm.
We've been maligned and cast as some kind of ultra far right. I mean, they call anything right of Stalin far right at this point. But most people I met were people that believed in fundamental rights for everyone, equal rights, equal responsibility type of stuff. And, you know, that used to be at least we agree on that stuff. You know, the liberals used to be the party of free speech. Now they're the party of censorship. They call me a fascist. Well, they beat me down in the street.
Right.
And literally beat me silent, you know.
Wow.
Police come and threaten me at my home. You know, this is where we're living, as they call themselves, the good guys, the anti-fascists.
Well, I just want to remind everybody, this is I brought this up in another cast the other night, but this is the National Post. And what Thomas Lukasik, this is a quote from him. People are upset. What Albertans separatist worries about now. Sorry, that's not his quote. But his quote is a very small group of angry militant men armed to the teeth. That's how he describes us as the freedom-loving. Yeah, the freedom-loving Albertans is how he describes a very small group of angry militant men armed to the teeth.
I'm surprised they didn't put white in there just to be extra.
Oh yeah, geez, what the heck? Why did they forget that?
Yeah,
they should have put
Christian,
white Christian.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And people come at me, they're like, "Oh, you're the most privileged guy." We're like, I don't know. Most white Christian cisgendered males or whatever the heck they call us now, we're targets. We're targets for sure.
Yeah. Chris, is there anything else that you want to talk about?
Probably, but that's too open. That's too open-ended question.
There's a ton of stuff. There's a ton of stuff.
Yeah. What I would like to say is that this has been a great conversation, and if you're interested, I would love to do more of these, man. It's hard for me sometimes to dig into the deeper issues. You know, I'm one guy with a couple of cell phones and trying to make it work. But if you'd like to talk more about this stuff, there's a lot I have to learn about West Coast politics, let's say, and
Well, that's
and
good.
probably a lot of things that we could dig into and have some good conversations. So I would be happy to do that with you going forward.
Well, let's talk off camera. We can figure
Yeah.
out some days. But we have to do coffee or beer, whatever.
Yeah, for sure.
You,
Yeah.
whatever you feel like.
I live off coffee, but
I'm a coffee guy too. I'm a huge coffee guy.
yeah.
So let me just take a look here. Oh, why is Anastasia here? Anastasia, do you know Anastasia? She says I'm here. I'm sure she's.
Oh yeah. I know her from the internet and stuff. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
good.
she's a supporter of some
I
sort.
wasn't sure she was.
Yeah, Anastasia.
was
Yeah.
one of them.
Yeah. No. She's good.
Okay.
No worries there. I
Yeah.
met her, I think, since I've been in Calgary a couple of times, but she's shy. So
Okay. Let's do this again. Let's do this very shortly. I don't know if you're available tomorrow night. You and I will talk about it.
yeah, we'll figure it out.
But I appreciate you. I thank you so much for doing what you're doing. Thanks for being there to cover Derek Reimer and what's going on, and standing beside Archer Perlowski. While you guys were addressing the Nazis that he, that guy's fearless.
I'd probably use Gestapo more than not, but yeah, I get it. Man, I did an event way back. So I did a ton of work with a group called Safe Canada from Ontario, Christian youth organization. Their entire family was attacked. The young men, they were minors. They were kicked out of school. Both their parents were fired later for their son's activism.
What's the last name again?
Alexander, Josh Alexander, and Matt Alexander would be their father. He's a Canadian Forces veteran as well. Preacher.
Great family.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm kind of well versed in that. I've been attacked a lot for this same kind of stuff, and I don't know where I was going with that, but
Oh, well, so again, I just wanted to say thanks for covering Derek Reimer and Archer Perlowski is what I was saying, because it
just made me think of that other family. Christians have been and are being persecuted all over the world, but here in Canada as well. And it's not getting better. It's getting far, far worse. And with Bill C9 coming, we're in trouble.
Yeah. Well, you and I both know that there's so much that's going on today in Canada. And again, that's obviously why we're focused on leaving Canada. And apparently, so this is one of the other things that I wanted to say here. Sorry, before we sign off, is that I wanted to say that it looks like, and that's what Keith Wilson, this one I pulled up here, it looks like we're going to have a referendum in the fall of 2026. It looks like we're going to be starting the petition. So we have to do a petition first, and we're hoping to get, 1 million people signing the petition. So we're going to do a petition first, and that'll be starting in January sometime. I think somebody said it was January 11th or something like that. So I want everybody to get their boots on, get their belts strapped up, get ready for petition season, because we are going to hit the ground running, and we are going to make this the greatest petition gathering fiesta of
do it. I had a good friend. I had a good friend who did one in a federal petition that I think it's at the right. It was like almost 500,000 signatures. So,
well,
get on it. Get on it.
We're well used to it here in Calgary. Is that Anastasia? This is Bruce Scholl, and this is Unscrew the News. That's who he's talking to. So my channel's Unscrew the News. You can find me at unscrewthenews.com. And I do a week or a nightly live. I try to do it every night. And I appreciate you being here. So thanks very much for joining us, Anastasia. And everybody else. It looks like we have lots of people joining us tonight. So I appreciate Chris.
I hit the restream.
Yeah.
I hit the restream.
Well, we're going to do that again. And we're going to be here because we have so many topics to talk about.
Yeah. And honestly, I really appreciate this, because it's hard for me, right? It's hard for me to spend the time and take time to go through the broader issues and break it down. So to have someone to talk to about it is helpful to me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, we're going to do it again. Anyway, so we're going to push through this petition, you guys. January, we're going to get out there and we're going to petition hard, and we're going to take obviously there's going to be roadblocks, you guys. Don't get discouraged, because this is for your family. This is for your kids. This is for generations to come. We are going to build the most amazing country, the nation of Alberta, the Republic of Alberta, whatever the name is. It doesn't really matter. We all just have to get on the same page, and we have to push forward, because we are going to be the beacon of freedom here in Alberta. So I appreciate you all being here. Chris, Dacey, thank you so much for joining me. Stick around. We're going to have a bit of a conversation after, but I want to say goodbye to the audience, and thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
All right, everybody. You know what to do. Keep your eyes. Let's get some more eyeballs on this information. We had a great night tonight with a lot of people joining us. Keep your head on a swivel. Let's stay sane together, you guys. This is Bruce. I'm out of here. Thank you so much for watching Unscrew the News. I appreciate your participation in freedom in Canada. Share this information and help others to wake up. God bless.